What are we talking about again? Just kidding. Welcome to ADD, Attention Deficit Discourse. My name is Ray.
I'm Kevin.
And we are your host for today.
And I think this is the 5th episode. I think the last episode we talked about crazy conspiracy theories. A lot of wild things that people still believe in out there.
I saw another one
this
recently.
Co-host right here.
I saw another one recently where they were saying that the air is poison and it just takes a long time to affect us so that we die in our 80s or whatever.
Oh, that's crazy. I was listening to a podcast episode about that. They call it miasma. That's what they used to believe in back in the days.
Oh, it's
they
real?
They used to believe that, yeah, like hundreds of years ago. Yeah, it's called miasma. People thought that a lot of bad things came from the air, like you breathe it in. But it took a long time for germ theory to burgeon after that. But yeah, a lot of people believed in that, exactly what you just said. So
is that one of
makes sense.
Is that one of the theories for why the Salem witch trials happened as well? Like that?
I don't know.
People were pretending that something was in the air, blah blah blah.
That felt more supernatural, right? But a lot of cures and prescriptions involved like moving yourself to different areas, thinking that you were in a place with dirty air that you got. But amazingly, it's still somewhat relevant. In that same episode, they talked about how there's these crazy, they think it's bacteria, but they have no proof. But there's been cases in like the Pacific Northwest, like around Washington, where these kids come out with these crazy diseases where it affects their thoracic functions, so like their lungs and the heart and whatever. And nobody knows what causes it, and they're usually treated. It can be pretty serious. They get into the hospital for a week or two, but people still don't know what causes it. But one very interesting link is that these symptoms are shared with kids in China. And another crazy coincidence is that many of these cases happen shortly after it rains.
Oh, acid rain.
So they think that, no, not even acid rain. They think that when it rains, it stirs up
whatever's
these
in the ground.
Microorganisms. Yeah, and then they breathe it literally in the air, and then they get sick from pulmonary infection, allegedly. But they never purify the bacteria, so it's really crazy. And because it's shared with kids in China, they think that it is transported from China across the ocean and lands into the U.S.
Interesting. I have not heard about this.
Yeah, I should look into it. Pretty crazy, and it makes sense. It checks out because you know what makes rain and rain clouds? What nucleates them? Bacteria. Bacteria and viruses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
that is interesting.
Anyway.
I guess way back then, they didn't really have to worry about air pollution as much. Like before the Industrial Revolution, they didn't have to worry about the air killing them. They had to worry about other things.
But you're okay. You wear your mask every day, right? Even still today when you go out.
I do when I go to the grocery store, but I've been doing cycling
You're like
classes.
the only one that still wears a mask.
People are nasty. One time I went to Costco and this lady literally like sneezed on her hand like this.
And then she went to grab a bunch of bananas.
Touched a bag of sumo oranges and then walked away.
Oh.
She's just wiping her hand off.
But then you got to think about all of the people touching all of the stuff. Then you would never buy groceries, right?
Yeah, but it's still,
so
it's still gross. It's like not okay.
What do you do then? Yeah, I know it's not okay, but then you're thinking about that and it's all nasty. Do you never buy food at the grocery store? Oh, you only buy food with wrappers in a box.
It was in those like mesh bags.
Yeah, but they can touch through it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you clean all your apples and your oranges under scalding water and bleach.
No. Yeah, I was like, oh my lord. And then this other guy was coughing too.
Oh.
I was like, oh man, we're gonna get sick. But no, I haven't been wearing it to cycling classes because I'll freaking die in there if I have a mask on top
Yeah.
of the class. Like those classes are kind of crazy, but they're
Oh,
fun.
so, but you still wear your mask everywhere else.
Everywhere else, yeah.
Oh, Andrew too.
Mm-hmm.
When he goes with you, really?
At work
Don't
too because he goes to a lot of people's houses. So
don't people look at you weird?
in my
Judge you?
adulthood, I've learned that if you don't make eye contact with people, then you feel like people can't see you. So I just don't make eye contact with people when I'm like walking around in grocery stores.
If you want them to move away from you. The opposite is true too. If you don't want them to go near you, you make eye contact with them, even when you're turning and when you're like grabbing your fruits and your veggies. You don't even look at the fruits and veggies. You keep looking at them like straight on.
Do
and
the
you
smile
this,
thing.
and you turn your head thing like that and keep walking. Even when you're turning around the aisle, you're pushing your cart. They'll move away from you for
Call the
sure.
cops on
Try
you.
it. You should try it. Call the cops on you? What laws do you break?
He stared at me.
Staring at the crime now?
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Anywho, we were going to talk about some childhood stories. Just different things that have happened.
Okay.
And we're going to hee-hee and we're going to ha-ha.
Okay, all right. You sound like you wanted to start first. Like you got some wild stories. I know you do. Since you
trying to
grew up
think.
in a pretty eclectic household with horses and lizards and
Oh, yeah, I forgot
other
about
kinds
that
of
one.
crazy stuff. Oh, and mice.
Oh,
Cats.
yeah. My poor sister trauma from all the mice.
You have a lot of pranks because you're in a loving household full of sibling love.
I didn't pull any pranks, I don't think. But yeah. So like Kevin just mentioned, we have like a barn in our backyard. It's nothing fancy. It's literally just a skeleton of a barn and like a roof. But
How
sometimes
big is the barn, anyways? Is it
I couldn't tell you. Maybe like
5,000 square feet?
the size of my house. So not that.
That's a pretty
not-
big barn.
It's definitely smaller. But
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just guesstimating.
Okay. That's cool.
But yeah, sometimes
Most people don't have barns around here in the city, so
No, yeah,
pretty unique.
it was cool. It was fun. But yeah, sometimes mice would come from the barn into the house. And one time, no, there's too many times actually. There was one time I would wake up really early because I had undiagnosed ADHD, right? So I would get home from school and then I would usually like shower, take a nap, and then I would wake up again at like midnight or like 1 or 2 a.m. to do my homework. And then I did my homework all the way up until it was time to get ready for school. And so one time I was at my mom's desk, like just doing homework, and then I hear something, and then I turn, and the mouse is right there staring at me, and I'm like, and then it jumps away, and I started screaming that I was like, I'm gonna finish my homework in another class. Like, it's not happening. I'm done. I need to go put socks on. I need to put shoes on. I need to get out of this house. There's another time where the mouse came in. This is my favorite story.
Wait, how old were you? Were you like a senior or a junior in high school?
Yeah, I was a senior in high school.
I was joking about that. I thought you were just a tiny little kid and you were afraid of the mouse.
You can
but
be
you're a
afraid
senior
of
in high
mice.
school. But
First of all, you can be afraid of mice at
my
any age. It's perfectly
gosh,
acceptable.
no, I'm not
Here
a-
at ADD LLC, we do not shame people afraid of mice. No, yeah, I had a really bad fear of mice actually up until college when I started working with mice, and that was.
Wait, do you still have a fear of rodents, of mice, rats, hamsters?
I mean, you think about things like toxoplasmosis, and it's just like a little bit. I'm a little afraid.
Do you know that you get toxoplasmosis from your 2 cats?
Yeah, I know.
Then
But I don't let them go outside, so it should be fine. But yeah. Okay, my favorite story, my poor sister. Oh yeah, I'm getting distracted again. I was going to tell you when I applied for my job at school in college, I didn't think I was going to get the job. So I just applied. I was applying everywhere. I was sending out emails. I really, really wanted to work in a lab. And so I would spend Saturdays like sometimes I would spend the whole day just like applying or like trying to figure out how to make a resume, trying to figure out what a cover letter was. Yeah. I didn't know anything. They didn't teach us that kind of stuff in high school. So I didn't know what a resume was supposed to look like. And then
this is when you were a student at UCSD.
Yeah, when I was in my first year at UCSD. And then I had applied for a bunch of jobs. I got an interview, and then I got along really well with the person who interviewed me, one of the like postdocs.
Sounds good.
And then, yeah, she was like, "Are you comfortable working with mice?" And I was like, "Yes."
Oh no!
I didn't think I was going to get the job, though. I really didn't think I would get the job.
You didn't hesitate when she asked that.
I'm
a
little liar.
Wow.
A little liar. And then, well, I just didn't think I was going to get the job. So I was, hoping for the best.
Okay.
And then I remember I tweeted about it. And I put a little meme too of, I think her name's Respucia. And she's saying like, oh, hell no. And I put like, oh, I applied for a position to work with mice. And then the little GIF. And then... yeah, like a couple weeks later, she emailed me saying, like, offering me the position, and I had tweeted again. I was like, guys, I got the position. What do I do? I was like, should I say it's against my religion to work with animals? But that's the whole job. It's animal research assistant. That was my role. And so I was like, oh my God. I was like, whatever, it'll be fine. And then I remember my first day, we went to the vivarium, I was standing there and my knees were so weak staring at all the mice.
Wait, hold up. This is next to the UCSD School of Medicine, right?
Ooh.
The vivarium.
Should we
think
say?
It is. No, I know where the vivarium is.
Should we
I've
say,
been there.
though, for animal activists?
Oh, no, it doesn't matter because it's carded assets, very secure.
They were transgenic mice, they didn't experience.
I've been to that area before. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so, oh my gosh, my knees were so weak. I will never forget. I thought I was going to pass out. I was like, I was shaking and everything. And then...
your first week too?
Yeah, my first day.
Wait, but you were going to get trained though, right? By the boss?
Yeah.
Okay. This is not looking good then. So you're trembling, you're shivering,
well, so the person...
you're like dripping with sweat, and your boss is looking at you like, what's wrong with her? Is she on drugs?
This girl has diarrhea.
Like, yeah, something is really up with her.
Yeah, no, so she didn't show me the vivarium. The like vivarium manager or something like gave me the tour. But honestly, the mice were cute. They're so much cuter than wild mice. Wild mice look disgusting. They look mutated, but
and you didn't know the context of the mouse work. There are some animal research lab where they just do cute things with the mice, like they give them a treat, they put them.
Have you seen the
door.
mammoth mice?
But I'm just saying that.
No. Have you seen recently?
You were hoping that you could do that kind of mouse work, where you're just feeding them treats and just counting them, see if they help each other out by going over a secret door, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't involve like the guillotine or dissection or anything like that.
Yeah. No,
anyway,
So yeah, that happened, and then I just kind of slowly got over it. I remember touching them too. I was like, "Oh my God." It was so scary. And then I have like some funny memories with them. Like,
so you stayed doing all that work.
I worked there for over 3 years.
Doing mouse work for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Really? And then I would shadow another postdoc in the lab.
Okay.
I shadowed her.
So
and she
after
taught me so
all
much.
3 years of that work, if you were cooking pasta at the stovetop at home, you hear some little squeakity squeak sounds, you turn around and you see a little furry rodent nibbling on a piece of Cheetos you dropped last week, would you like freak out? Would you jump up? Would you throw the spatula at it?
No.
Would you call Andrew? Andrew, come over, shoot it.
I wouldn't sacrifice anything.
So
well, I know my
cats
would not be able to catch it, so that would be a problem. I don't know what I would do.
How do you know that? Your cat's never caught anything
because when
before?
We play with their toys, they can't catch the toys. But I let them catch it so that their little like self-esteem doesn't get lowered. I'll let them have it sometimes. I'm like, good job. bathtub, but I basically
You're not telling
left it
me
there for
everything
them.
about your cat. Are they like missing one eye or both
They're
eyes,
just
maybe?
indoor cats. You know, they're so spoiled. They lay in the bed under the covers. They're so spoiled.
They're not missing a rare leg, or I don't know. That's pretty bad that they can't catch. They usually have really good hand-paw coordination. You see the video of the cat facing like a rattlesnake, I think, and it's just looking at it right in the face, and the rattlesnake bites the cat, but the cat has such fast reflexes that it just smacks the snake's face to the side. It doesn't even flinch. It just like smacks it out of the way, like boom, get out of my way, boom, get out of my way. And the snake would do that repeatedly, and the cat is totally unfazed. Like it is saying to the snake, "You're way too slow for me. You'll never bite me." So it keeps like boom, smack, boom, smack, boom, smack. You got to look up that video. It's crazy to see how fast the reflexes are for cats.
No, yeah, my little cat, I think maybe. But anyways,
Blind.
I don't know. I don't, like I said, wild mice are so much uglier than lab mice. Lab mice are actually
they're
cute.
just black and gray instead of white.
No, they have weird faces. I promise you. I promise. Or maybe the ones back home are the ones
two
back
little
home.
black eyes and
No,
same kind of tail. I don't understand why you would freak out
They're ugly.
after 3 years.
Well,
of
no.
working with
So
them.
so
Oh my
high school
gosh.
was when I had the fear, right? When the mice had come into our house.
Uh-huh.
So there was 2 times that the mice came into our house. One time, and I feel so bad for my sister. Because
Well, I've heard this one before.
To this day, she still has a fear of mice because of this. But so I was getting ready for school, and this is the layout of my house. There's a hallway, there's like a room, and then the restroom. This is the door for the restroom, this is the hallway. I had the door open, I was straightening my hair, getting ready, and she just starts screaming and jumping as high as she can. And I just go, and I close the door very calmly, very slowly. Close the door on
like
her.
a good
and then,
sister should be doing.
and then she was screaming, and she ran over, and she starts banging on the restroom door, and she's like, "Don't leave me out here!" And then I open the door for her.
Was she scratching the door as well? You can hear her fingernails
She was like
popping off
pounding
and
on the
pounding on
door,
it,
and
shrieking
then
and.
yeah.
But
she
when
was
you
shrieking.
closed the door on her, you really didn't even know what was going on.
I knew we had a mouse in the house, so
Oh, okay. Because
yeah. At that point,
that would
we
have been
knew we
messed
had
up. Like, what if it was a radioactive iguana that came in there?
survival of the fittest. You know, gotta.
You just closed the door on her.
It's good odds. My parents still have 3 kids. It's good. They're fine. Yeah. So I let her in. She went and got in the bathtub immediately. And then she was just like sitting in the restroom, like just staring off. And she was like, "Mouse ran across my foot. Mouse ran across my foot." And then I was dying of laughter. And I feel so bad. It's like one of my favorite stories, but I also feel bad for her because she has such a bad fear, like to this day.
You ever recant the story back to her? How does she take it when you tell, or when you tell other friends about that story while she's present? Like, how does she take it? Does she?
She's like, yeah, you were so mean to me. You're so mean.
That does sound pretty mean. I concur.
I also didn't like mice. Okay, so then I closed.
Yes.
Someone's gotta take the fall.
Someone.
What are the odds that 2 of us have a mouse run across our foot? You know, like lightning doesn't strike twice. So I was good to go. She took a fall. She took the fall.
It would have been real funny if you let her into the bathroom, you slammed the door shut, but then you realized that you slammed the door and you trapped a mouse into the bathroom with you and your 2 sisters. That'd be classic.
Yeah.
Golden.
I remember after school, we were sitting at the table, like eating dinner.
Oh, did I ever tell you about you ever see the video about the guy sleeping on the New York City subway? And the rat is crawling up on his sleeping face. And the rat is literally going up to his mouth. And then that's when he wakes up and he freaks out because, of course, it's a probably not clean rat kissing him on the mouth, maybe licking the residual food off his lips, and he jumps up and the rat just jumps off and runs away on a moving subway. You haven't seen that video?
I would go to the hospital. You told us about it at lunch one time.
Look it up. Look up that video.
You told us.
It looked crazy. How can a guy not sense a rat crawling up his leg first, and crawling up his torso, then crawling through the neck, and then up to his lips to give him that nice, affectionate kiss right there. Peck, 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 peck. With the little whiskers moving too. Little whiskers.
Get tangled in his mustache, braid together.
So he was totally on that. That'd be the worst viral video to be on. Like if you
emphasis on viral.
If you woke up the next morning and emphasis on viral, pun intended. You woke up the next morning and all your friends found out that you were on a viral video, that would probably be one of the most embarrassing, right?
I was thinking about that today. I was having that thought.
Thinking about you're on one of those candid camera shows that you did something and you're like, oh, I hope you ever do anything really embarrassing, and then you look around like, oh, did anyone see that? And oh, thank goodness no one recorded that. And
this is gonna take a hard steer for just like 2 minutes. But one of my biggest fears when I had SIBO, so for anyone who's not our friend listening, I had small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. My biggest fear when I had that was that I was going to poop my pants in public. And because you get urgency,
so
right?
You probably thought of the worst places that could happen, right?
Yeah, you gotta plot. You gotta look for like
meeting,
where you're gonna.
In the middle of a work meeting, that would be disastrous. In the middle of you talking, presenting during a work meeting,
exactly.
That might be one of the worst.
I did think about it during a meeting one time.
About
I was like, imagine
waiting in line at Trader Joe's.
Anywhere. The thing that sucked about SIBO was you would get that urgency. Like, you need to go now, and then you go to the restroom, and you have, like, a little goat poop. It's literally this tiny, and you're like, what was all that for? It's so annoying.
This is so funny because my 3 kids, they love to hear stories about their aunt's husband who had the same... He doesn't have SIBO, but he has just... I don't even know how to call his predicament.
They usually, the blanket term is usually just, oh, now I'm blinking. Normally,
if he has to go, he has to go. So he carries around like a 5-gallon bucket in the back of his car along with big garbage bags because sometimes he's got to go. Yeah. And then their favorite story is he was inside like a department store and he was trying on shoes. And he had to go. He had to go, but he couldn't make it anymore. He was in like... So I think he just went in a shoebox. And he had to wipe himself with the paper.
The little tissue?
Of the shoe. Yeah, within a shoebox. And my kids were just bawling. They were just laughing. And that was one of the funniest incidents. On top of like pulling over the side of the freeway and just going into the ditch.
How old
was
he? How old was he?
He's adult. He's adult.
No, when
now.
this happened, it happened recently?
Like in college. Like he's in college.
Okay.
You know, so he's grown, adult.
Wait, no, he's in college right now.
No, he's grown now, like late 30s.
The poop story happened when he was in college.
Like he was in college, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
those
back
are
then,
always the funniest
there were
stories.
no phones.
No, nothing,
That's the
right?
problem.
Yeah,
That's
actually,
the problem
it's
with
true.
today.
Oh, yeah, you got extra layer of fear. It could be viral.
Exactly.
You're worried about waking up one morning after one of these incidents that you thought you were discreet about, and then you wake up, you pull out your phone,
that's the poopy pants,
you see
girl.
5,000 text notifications. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh no, what did I do? I know I had that incident yesterday, but I swore no one was around.
That's the thing that sucks. And especially because, like, I must have been a piece of shit in my last life because,
Pun intended. Yeah, that's a good one.
Such a dad joke. But a lot of embarrassing stuff happens to me. One time at UCSD, I was crossing the road to go to this job I just told you about, and it was raining. and my backpack was heavy because I would basically pack for the entire day. You know, when I was like,
what will you be packing?
Because
when
I was a third and fourth year, like I would carry my laptop, I would carry like, you know, whatever book or something that I need to read. I would throw my lunch in my backpack, you know, water,
dinner,
like I would throw a
snack.
bunch of stuff in my backpack just
Like
to kind of camp
survival
out.
kit.
Yeah.
Literally a tent as well to camp out.
No.
Okay.
But yeah,
you didn't go that far.
basically everything else. And then I was walking, and you know those like metal grates on the floor, or like the little yellow bumps too, like
on
I
the
don't know what they're
doorway,
called.
on the door
No,
aisle.
on the floor, when you're like
floor.
crossing the road, and then there's like the little area that has like bumps before you go onto the sidewalk.
Oh,
So
and
that
they're
people
usually
with the
colored yellow
wheelchair-
stuff, right?
Yeah. So that people with like wheelchairs or
Yeah, they had like grippers
go up.
for the blind people too. So when they scrape their walking stick,
Yeah.
they can.
So
So
I
that
was
was slippery
walking,
for you.
and I literally slipped, and I was laying like a turtle for a couple seconds because my backpack was so heavy.
Oh my goodness!
It was so
did you have to
embarrassing.
take off your backpack to get back up? And you,
I just like, you know, turtle flipped over, but it was so embarrassing because there were so many
weren't
people
there like
going
traffic
back and forth.
as well? Oh, there were
Yes.
people around.
Yes, because the buses let people off right there.
a
It was-
bus was over there. Oh my!
There was
gosh.
another time where
And nobody helped you out or anything.
no, they walked around me.
They walked over you. They stepped over you, kind of like Kobe Bryant stepping over Tyronn Lue. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they literally walked around me, and then it was so embarrassing. There's another time where it was my first time riding a bike in a long time. This was first year of college. So the turtle story is last year of college. This story is first year of college. First year of college, I had a bike at school because I was like, I'm gonna bike, you know. No, I'm not biking.
On campus
Because
or
there's so many
off
hills at
campus?
UCSD.
There are a lot of hills.
There's
That's why
so
I'm
many
surprised.
So I was running late to a class, and there was people standing waiting for a shuttle. And right by
all
the
of
shuttle,
your most embarrassing incidents always has to happen in front of maximum number of eyeballs. Okay?
that is why my fear of pooping myself is not irrational, because
It's gonna happen
embarrassing
in
stuff
front of a
always,
shuttle.
Don't say
bus.
that. Knock on wood right now.
It's gonna happen in front of
stop
a
it, stop it.
shuttle. I got wood right here, so
Yeah, so I got on the bike. I was like ready to, you know, pedal as fast as I can to class because I was running late, and
can
they
you
had clicker
imagine
questions.
you have your little pooping incident on a bike? On okay, anyway, continue.
Put me down. If that happens, put me to rest. Let me perish.
Right, yeah. You're gonna steer the bike right into traffic
The
in
long
front
sleep.
front of that bus full of people, and they run over you.
Yeah.
And it probably won't even kill you. You probably like splay yourself off your bike, off the side of the bus,
Yeah.
not even injured, and your poop is just spraying everywhere.
Oh, disgusting.
and you had your heavy backpack on too when you're on the ground, falling off your bike, and you can't get up, and you're just flailing. And
So embarrassing.
okay,
So yeah, it was my first time riding a bike in a long time. I get on the bike. I get ready to start pedaling, and I don't know what happened. I tip over into all the bikes, and then everyone sees me and goes, ooh. And then I get back up. I try again. I tip back into
when
the
you say
bikes
you
again.
tip over into the bike, you're not even outside of the bike rack.
I was next to it. I was up on the
Oh.
sidewalk about to take off. And
Okay.
then I don't know what happened. And I just literally tipped into it. And then they go, ooh. Got back on the bike. Tried again. Tip. Ooh. And I was like,
Again.
oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. And then I got back on. And then I go and I'm biking. And I'm going like -1 mile per hour up the hill. There's someone walking faster than me.
You're literally going backward on the hill, so
I
it
was
checks
going
out
so
-1 mile per hour.
Slow. There was people like out walking me. My friend sees
There's
me.
a guy on a wheelchair like going beyond past you.
Speeding.
And he's asking you, ma'am, do you need me to push your bicycle?
Yeah, and then my friend saw me, and then she's like, is that you? And I'm like, okay, that's it. It's time to walk the bike. It's done. I'm done. And then she started cracking up because she saw me like basically pedaling in place, and she was just dying of laughter.
And she was like, was that also you that fell into the other bikes at the bike rack?
The thing that sucks is because UCSD split, those people I definitely had in MMW, our history class that we all had to take. I definitely had some of those people in there for sure at some point because we take 5/4 of it and it was horrible. So, anyways, I was thinking about that today. I was like, man, I have a fear of pooping myself in public. Because
I think everybody has a fear of pooping themselves in public.
You're
not
so?
the only one. Come on now.
I'm unique. No, I was thinking
but
about it.
But you probably put way more thought into it about the worst places that could happen for that.
Similar to so, oh my gosh, do you want to know? There's so much TMI. Sorry to everybody.
On a plane.
Poop warning.
On a plane
as
when
we're 20 minutes into this
your
poop
seatbelt
talk.
goes in. You know when you're landing on a plane and the buckle seatbelt goes on? What if it happens right there?
Put me down. Just
How about when you're waiting in line of an amusement park and you got to go? And
since my prefrontal cortex has developed, I don't like to put myself in dangerous situations. I like to stay on the ground. Feet on the ground.
Swimming pool. You're in a public swimming pool.
Ew,
and it has to go.
That's gross. No.
And when you're snorkeling
Ew.
with a big crowd of people. No, I'm thinking of the worst places.
Oh, man. Okay. This is TMI.
Your wedding ceremony.
This
when
is
you're
TMI.
doing your vows.
This is TMI. 2 years ago, so like peak SIBO, we went to Hawaii. And my friend really wanted us to do this boat trip where you take you go into but you're on the boat for 6 hours and you go onto the boat, they show you around the island a little bit. They take you to
what
areas.
Kind of boat? Like a motorboat?
A small one.
You mean like where you have to have a paddle and oar and you're rowing?
Not that small.
Okay,
not that small.
okay.
A little bigger. Enough to carry, I think, like 20 people or something.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty big boat.
But not big enough to have a restroom.
There's no restroom. Okay.
No.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I think most boats don't have restrooms.
And luckily, well, some do, like the big ferries or whatever. But it wasn't a ferry.
Okay,
It wasn't like a sightseeing
Titanic.
boat.
The Titanic has a restroom.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it wasn't that big. So my friend really wanted us to do this, and this was the thought I had, like until the day came. I was like, "What if I have to poop really badly?" And we're out in the middle of the ocean.
Right?
They're gonna throw me into the water and let me do my thing, and everybody's gonna stare at me. They're gonna know who I am. They're gonna be like, "That's the poop girl. She's pooping right there in the ocean. Disgusting. This beautiful island."
I think there's an actual term for it. It's
fecal incontinence.
No. It's something evacuation.
Oh, like colon evacuation?
Uncalled evacuation. That's what they call it.
Oh, yeah.
A surprise evacuation. So you had a surprise evacuation. You're worried about getting a surprise evacuation incident on this boat full of 20 people.
So to this day, this was the best decision I made for myself, and I have no regrets. Even though
adult diapers. That right? That would work. No.
Even though
adult diapers, right? Depends. It depends.
Here at ADD LLC, we do not shame adults. No. Okay, so I was really worried.
Oh,
about
no,
this
that's
happening.
not true. She shamed my age all the time, but continue.
Yeah, he's old. To this day, I have no regret. She swears that it's like a really nice, boat ride and blah, blah, blah. But the day before...
6 hours?
6 hours.
6 hours? How are people supposed to go to the bathroom then?
I don't know.
Like, they say, hey, I'm going to go over the edge. No one look.
The thing is...
I don't even know how girls would go.
I'm pretty sure it's 6 hours because they give you lunch and you eat on the boat, but the boat is stagnant. So, well, not stagnant, but it's no longer.
But do they allow
around.
people to jump off the boat?
Yeah, they snorkel a little bit.
Oh, okay. So that's where you probably go to the bathroom, at least in number 1.
Yeah.
But probably not number 2. I don't think you could. Who needs to do a number 2? Just put on your snorkeling gear and kind of go downstream or down current.
Your
down
adult
current from
diaper.
everyone else, and I don't even know how you would see the current in the ocean. Can you imagine like a friend goes and you're snorkeling, you see some stuff coming around, hitting you in the face, and you're like, "Oh, what is that? What is that? Let me taste it." Oh no, that definitely was not fish poop.
And then
I should have known because it was brown and kind of long, and like I should not have touched it and smelled it and tasted it. Oh yeah. Oh, that was definitely not
Lab Kevin is back. Your imagination's going crazy.
No, this is okay.
Your
Anyways.
adult diaper swells up and you have a floating device now.
No, that's when you're like, you tell everyone, all right, everybody, got to change my Depends. Nobody looked. I'm gonna put on the fresh ones because I brought 5 more with me. And does anybody have any adult wipes? I forgot to bring mine. Any wipe mine?
Disgusting.
Anyway, so you're on this boat ride. 6 hours.
No. Rewind. No. We're not going to put out this idea. Okay. The day before, I just had that like feeling. Like, I don't think I should go. So I told my friend, pooping myself in the middle of the ocean in front of shit.
Enjoying the beautiful sunset,
making memories,
snorkeling. Yeah,
having fun.
Yeah, do what normal people do. Yeah. No fear. Open ocean.
Human nature.
The two would be human nature. Yes.
So I told my friend, I was like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna go tomorrow, and also because I get motion sickness. So I thought it's just a really long time, especially to be eating out on the ocean. I was just like, no, I think I'll get seasick for sure. So I told her no. I felt bad because I could tell her and my other friend were kind of disappointed because naturally...
Did they go at least then?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
But naturally, if I'm not going, that means Andrew's not going as well. So... But I felt bad, and I told him. I was like, you should go.
You did not let him go? Oh,
no,
yeah,
no.
you told him
I told him. I was like, you should go. I promise you, like, I will be... I can go to the beach and just hang out. Like, I will have a good time. Don't even worry about it. And he was like, no, I'll hang out with you. And I was...
What a loving partner.
I know. And so we had rented a car, and I had been the driver the whole weekend, even though it would have made sense for my friends to be the drivers, because at the time I wasn't above the age of 26. So, but I wanted to drive because, like I said, I get car sick and all that stuff. So I was driving the whole week, and I dropped off my friends. We had to get up at like 5 a.m., I think it was, and drive to the other side of the island, which was an hour away. And then I took our 2 friends, or me and Andrew took our 2 friends, dropped them off. Maybe like, I don't even know, 10, 15 minutes after we dropped them off.
Not even halfway.
Pain. Okay. Agony. And I'm like, we gotta find something. And there's no fast food it's so deserted on that part of the island. There's even a part that kind of looks like the Grand Canyon.
This is why my bro-in-law has that 5-gallon bucket in the trunk.
I was renting the car. There was no bucket that I could bring. And oh my gosh, it was horrible. So we're driving around, I'm like becoming a believer again. I'm like, if you're real, do not let this happen to me. Please, please. I will be a better person. I don't know. Please, this isn't my car.
So you didn't have an unexpected evacuation?
So we're driving around. We go to a gas station. We go inside. There's no restroom. And it says, there's a sign that says no public restroom. And I go to the person at the front because I'm like, she has to have a restroom. She works here, right? Like, employees have to have a restroom. And I asked her, I was like, can I please use your restroom? And she was like, no, sorry. And I was like, okay. And then I got back in the car.
You didn't have
and I was
sweat beating down your face and everything,
sweat,
and shivering and red and like...
For sure. No, I probably look like a sickly Victorian
sympathy.
child.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Cruel.
So then got in the car, keep driving, trying to look for anything. Find an AutoZone type of store. We go inside.
I would just pull off the side of the road and right there in the ditch. Why not? I'm surprised that you had this kind of patience.
Yes. Yes.
Just go into the dirt, into the wooded area, and just behind a tree.
If anyone is hiring and is watching this, you can see that I'm a hard worker. I'm patient.
Very patient.
Determined. Yeah.
Despite all the pain.
Despite all the things working against me. So we go into that type of AutoZone store.
AutoStone would be.
There's no restroom. And I ask them if there's a restroom. They say no. We get back in the car, and
You
I'm
should have
literally
been
like,
"Is there a restroom?" And they say no, and then you ask, "Do you sell buckets?" I know you sell the little funnels, but that could help too. But I need a bucket, a wash bucket. You know what? Just sell me that car wash bucket. I'll take that cloth as well, and along with the soap and everything. I need it now. If you don't have a restroom, no questions asked.
I can't ask for all those materials after I just asked to use the restroom there.
Yeah.
They're gonna know.
That's the best part. That's what. No, then they'll probably be like, "Oh, you serious? Okay, we do have a restroom. Here it is." Right? That's how you gain their sympathy.
I thought maybe they would have sympathy. And that's the other thing is it's so early in the morning. Like I said, we woke up at 5 a.m. to get them there at like 6 or 7. So it was very early. So there's things that aren't open or there's just nothing. There's those places
If
that
it's
are
that
like
early,
empty
man,
buildings.
that's totally I'd be doing the side of the road in a ditch.
No.
Dig a
So
hole
then-
in the ground, you go in the hole, and you bury the hole. That's like camping. Camping 101, man.
Yeah. So then we drive around. I'm just like, oh, man, it's going to happen. Today's the day. And I was so glad,
5 hours
though.
later.
I told Andrew, I was like, thankfully, I would have been possibly on a boat. You know, we don't know. Because we sat there and we waited a little bit because we were deciding if we were going to go to the little, like, area of the island that looks like the Grand Canyon. So we had been kind of like deciding if we should go there, if we should go back to our place. So time definitely went by. I don't know if enough time went by to the point where I would have been on a boat at this point, but just thinking about the possibility was like, shudders. And then, we're driving around. There is this park and a porta potty that I had seen when we were driving to the little AutoZone looking area. But usually those things have locks on them. So I just kind of assumed that it had a lock on it. But then I was like, it's time to find out if it has a lock on it. And if not, it's time to go behind the porta potty.
Behind a
And yeah, thankfully the clouds opened and the Lord appeared and said, "Go, my child." And it was open. And thankfully it had toilet paper. And that's the story of the time that
Wait, hold up. If you opened it and it didn't have toilet paper, you'd be, nope.
I'm
I'm
locking
gonna keep
it.
looking.
No, I'm locking it until Andrew comes back with something.
2 hours later from the closest store with a roll of toilet paper.
No, yeah, I would have waited until he came back from wherever.
That would have been,
I'm so serious.
You know how long that would have been. Oh my gosh.
That's my time to reflect. Yeah.
If you open it, I mean, if you go there and you go to the porta potty and it's locked, but then you hear a little squeaky voice inside and say, I'm using it. It's like a little kid.
I will give you $10 to cut your poop where it is.
Kid respond, no, $20.
That's fine. $20.
Oh.
It's a smart kid. Yeah, no, that time was scary. So I was thinking about that today because the other time I thought I was going to poop myself was I was driving to work when I worked in San Francisco. I was on the Bay Bridge.
Oh, and you got stuck in traffic.
Yes. And that day I wasn't even going.
That would be hard. I don't even know where you would be able to go because there's cars everywhere. There's no ditches.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's nowhere to pull off.
No, you know what you would do? You pull to the side. You open your two right doors, kind of use it as a shield
At some parts of the bridge, though, there's nowhere to pull off. You will just block an entire lane. Like when there's been car
Okay, then
accidents
you
there.
would have to block it. You just block it, open the 2 doors, do your
No.
duty, and get back in
No, absolutely
and
not.
just drive off. And hopefully no one caught it on video, on live
They
TikTok
for sure
or
caught
whatever.
it. Like, there's a bunch of Zoomers. Somebody's gonna record it. No,
So,
nope. That's a problem for me to deal with when I get home, you know? But the worst part was that day I wasn't going to my workplace. We were collaborating with another company. So they were even farther south than my company. My company is like right at the tippity top northern part of San Francisco. And the company I was visiting, it was in South San Francisco. So that's another
you
like
have a longer
30,
drive.
40 minutes.
okay.
And I was like, oh my God. I remember being on the freeway thinking, yeah, I did think about the bucket. I was like, bucket would be such a good thing to have. And maybe like a little, like, what are, like something to go around, like a kind of like a curtain, you know?
They do sell that at the
Yeah,
camping stores.
they do.
It's, for a single person, it goes right over yourself.
Yep.
And you
I
can
would do
zip
that.
in, zip out.
That's better than being exposed to the
Come
world.
on. I mean, you're not that exposed. You just sit on it and just do your thing and just hurry up and get out of there.
Not for free.
Hey.
No. Not for the people to see. So yeah, I thought about that as well. That was another time where I had genuine
Not
fear.
bad at
No,
all. I
there
mean,
was-
your
there was
stories
another time.
are like pretty tame where
No,
you held it.
no,
It's not
no,
like
no,
my
no.
in-law that had to do it in a shoebox in the store. You know?
That's because mind over matter. No, I really thought there was 3 times total that I really thought like, oh man, today's the day, and I kind of accepted it. But it's like,
never
it
happened.
sucks.
You never
Knock on wood,
suffered.
right? Stop it. Stop this. Stop it right
You need to let me know. We got to
Knock on
do a
wood.
special breakout podcast
No.
episode for that.
You've never had a time like this where you've like gotten food poisoning or something?
No, I mean, I had food poisoning, but usually I'd be home by then.
Oh, wow.
I'd always have access to something toilet by then. Yeah.
Yeah.
But never to the point where I worried and I had to think about a 5-gallon bucket or a ditch or the side of a tree.
You know what's so sad, and I talked about this with Tiffany at work, is my plan at that time before I thought about having a bucket, because like I said, I don't want to exit the car and show
You just want
everyone
to do a
my
bag?
business. I
bag
had a
right
bag in
under
my
your
car.
seat?
Yep.
Right under? Like while you're driving?
We
Like,
don't
all you do
shame
is
people
stop and
here.
go? So if I'm like,
efficient.
so if I drive and I see someone like grimacing and like frowning, I'm like, oh, I don't know what that person is up to.
Yep. They're running late for work and they can't afford to run later.
Oh man, listening
Nervous
to some
poops.
Taylor Swift and
You get some nervous poops. You don't get nervous poops?
I don't even know what that means.
What?
Nervous poop?
Yeah, like when you get a little anxious, you don't feel like,
And you
oh
get
man,
poop?
gotta squeeze one out real quick. Yeah? No?
Right? No. Can you imagine? In grad school, I had to go up on stage in front of 300 something people. And you have to give a 1 hour.
Oh, for your defense?
No, not even defense. You got to do this like once every season.
Oh.
Yeah, or at least once a season. And then you have to give a big talk, and all of the people would ask you questions from the audience. But you have to do it after you give your half-hour talk or whatever. And I think people with a lot of fear of public speaking would shit their pants, I guess. But no one ever did, so that's why I never heard of what do you call this? Anxiety poop? Nervous pooping? Never heard of that.
Anxiety poops. It's a thing, I promise.
Anxiety poop? I've never heard of that.
Anyways,
I've
we
never
veered
met anybody
we
like
veered
that.
off so much. I said it would only be a 2-minute story, and somehow I
That's-
took you through my traumas.
You know, there's a word for that, right? Is it incontinent?
PhD. Yeah,
No,
fecal incontinence.
Yeah, because they, I heard that word recently because Freakonomics has this podcast series about rats. Mm-hmm. And there's one side who hates rats, like all of New York City. And then there's the other side that likes rats. And they're talking about rats, and they talk about when you have a rat on your shoulder or your head, don't be alarmed when they pee or poop on you because they're incontinent. Because they were talking about rat from the perspective of Ratatouille. You know that movie? About the rat on some dude's head? They were saying that that's probably not realistic because a rat would be pooping and peeing on the guy's head into the restaurant food and all that because they can't hold it or they can't control it.
Yuck. That reminds me of a time my sister stepped on a frog and it peed up at the same time.
Oh, how do you step on a frog?
We had a lot of frogs in our yard.
Oh, so she's just walking outside and didn't see
because
the camouflage.
We had our laundry. I don't know, like I don't know if this is just a weird thing my parents did, but we had our laundry and dryer, like washing machine and drying machine outside. So then, she had been coming inside, and then she stepped on a frog and it pooped and peed at the same time. I was like, that poor little guy. She just juiced him. She just stepped on him.
It stayed alive?
Yeah, it was alive.
Oh, it was alive? And it just ran away?
It just hopped off, yeah.
Oh.
I guess it's not a frog. Dead. It's a toad.
Oh, that's huge. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
The same thing happens often when you catch fish and you pull them out the water, especially carp. They pee all over the place, or poop. They poop all over the place. Pee and poop, yeah.
Gross.
So they get anxiety pee for sure. So it could be real in fishes and rats, incontinent animals.
Yeah.
And you, Ray, unfortunately.
Yeah, horrible.
Wait, have you ever peed your pants?
I'm sure when I was little, yeah.
I only remember I peed my pants once when I was like in first grade, I think, or kindergarten. I ran home and I had to go really badly, and I made it home. I couldn't make it upstairs to the bathroom, and I just went on the living room floor right there. And
did you have carpet?
No, it was just tile floor, so it was pretty easy clean. But my mom was there, and she was looking at me thinking, what the hell are you doing? I should have just went right out in the front yard, like in the grass or something, or anywhere, really. Like, why would I try to hold it? So
that's true. You're a man. Yeah, you guys, that's one of the gifts of being a man, is you can pee anywhere.
I just go anywhere now. I just go anywhere. I don't care. Go anywhere.
Yeah. Anyways, what were we talking about for real though? Sorry, we went on this poop talk for a while.
Yeah.
I think, we were talking about mice. We were talking about my sister's fear of mice, and the story where the mouse stepped on her foot. Yeah, pretty gross. And the worst part was, I had asked her after school. I was like, "Were you wearing socks?" And she was like, "No." And then I was like, "Ew, did you feel all 4 of its little feet?" And then she was like,
little claw.
She was just staring off like this, and she was like, "No, I only felt 2. I think it went ee!"
And it squeaked with joy.
Yeah, and then the other mouse time was pretty gross. There was mouse traps, and she had put her little candy that she had, I guess,
in the mouse trap?
She didn't know there was a mouse trap, I guess, in the cabinet. And so she like put her little candy in there. And then the mouse literally got caught in the mouse trap and was stuck, because it was those sticky traps. So it was stuck to her candy and stuck to the mouse, and she went to grab her little candy and dropped it, and then started yelling, and she was just, "There's a dead mouse on my candy. There's a dead mouse on my candy." And I went and I was alive? Like, I don't remember. I just remember like consoling her, because that was her second offense in a couple months. It happened too close to the first incident. So she still has a really bad fear of mice. But yeah.
So you don't ever give her mice gifts for birthday and Christmas?
No. I give her a lot of chicken. I give her a lot of chicken gifts, because she says I look like a chicken. There's like some chicken from Moana, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's a funny looking one with a little eyeball popping out. Yeah, that's a funny looking one.
She says my eyes are really big. So
what's she say when you give her that chicken?
I think I've given her like 4 or 5 chickens now, and so when people come
I bet
over,
she gives you the the poop emoji? She probably gives you
No,
that
she
pillow
doesn't.
and everything. She doesn't?
No, no,
Okay,
no.
I'm gonna give her that idea then.
No,
Oh
no.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna give her
when
that
people
idea.
come over
Return
to
the
visit,
favor.
when people visit her, they're like, "Dang, you really like chicken salad." She's like, "No, my sister won't stop giving me chickens."
She sounds like a very serious, stern
She's not.
kind of person.
She's so funny. No,
She
she's
is?
so
Okay.
funny.
Then you got to work on your impression of her because you're always giving the
Well, right now
stern,
that's because
solemn
I've told
impression.
you all the like offenses. You know, she is a funny person though. Yeah. Anyways, that's some stories from my childhood. Should we? Are you busy? Do you want to do a part 2, or should we do a part 2 another day?
Probably continue another day. I got a hard stop coming up at 6.
Boy Scouts.
I gotta catch up with someone at 6 o'clock.
We can do a mini
Awesome,
part 2. We can do a mini one and maybe do like a 20-minute. Up to you. We can cut it here and then start another one so that we can at least get a story out of you because I told you too much of my life.
I don't think we need to cut anything.
No. I'm
this
not
can
saying
still
cut.
be-
I'm saying we can do a part 2 of like continuing the stories that we had planned for today.
we don't have to. I think it's fine.
Here
I
he
like
goes
how it
again.
went,
Professional
yeah.
Kevin's coming out. Contrarian
No,
Kevin.
this
Lab
is
Kevin
good.
has left. He clocked out.
This is good. This is a good hour, I think.
Yeah. No, we'll come back in another time, and I want to hear your stories because we went off on the.
I don't have any.
No,
I
you
don't
do.
have any embarrassing
No,
stories.
you
No.
were a delinquent for sure. You were. You've said it yourself before.
I am a delinquent dad.
No, you said. What was the word you used to say? You used to say that you were a delinquent kid or something along those lines. I don't remember if that was the word you used though.
I said goody good shoe,
Nope.
obedient,
Lies.
diligent,
False.
not delinquent, diligent,
Not true.
studious.
Wrong. He's lying.
Yeah, those are the only words I ever thrown at you
First rule: never trust
about
a
my
man.
very, very strict life I had.
No, you were a delinquent for sure. I feel like you were also a delinquent as a teenager, or at least in college, for sure.
In college, there's no doubt I was partying it up because I didn't party at all through the first 18 years of my life. So I had to catch up somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get
Me
it out
too.
of my system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no embarrassing childhood stories. I'm sorry. I gotta think really
I don't.
hard.
I swear,
I-
something will come up.
I
at
gotta
some
think
point.
really hard on that. Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
I guess
Embarrassing?
those weren't my embarrassing. Well, that was my sister. That was just a story, I guess. That wasn't like an embarrassing thing that happened in childhood. But I would get in trouble a lot as a kid. I remember one time my friend, she had a Tamagotchi, and I had never known what a Tamagotchi was because they're expensive when you're a kid. And she gave me her Tamagotchi to play with for just until we walked to recess because we had just finished lunch. And I got her Tamagotchi, and I found out that you can feed them a lot. And I fed it, and it exploded. And I didn't know that happens. So then I started cracking up, and then I got detention, and I couldn't go to recess because I wasn't quiet in
What?
line. Yeah, so it's two homicides. I accidentally killed the Tamagotchi. It was taken away from me. It's not even my Tamagotchi. And then I couldn't even play at recess. I was so mad. So, Maria, the yard duty, if you're watching this, I haven't forgotten you. I know where you are.
So you never. So what did they do with that Tamagotchi?
I don't even remember. I used to get in trouble so much, though, because of my... Not all the time, but there were some teachers for sure. Like my military 5th grade teacher who was like ex-military. She was evil. She was evil.
And you were calling me delinquent as a kid.
I got bullied, so that's different. I got bullied. Yeah, I've told Kevin before about the time I fought in 5th grade. But yeah, I think after that, I was a pretty good kid. No, I'm a
Goody
liar.
good shoe.
No,
like
I
me.
was not. No, in high school, I had my phase of being a bad kid, like skipping class and blah, blah, blah. But, things have changed.
And I've never skipped a single class in my life.
That's not true.
I never.
You're lying.
Never
These people, if there's anyone who doesn't know who you are that's listening to this podcast, they're going to think you're being honest. Tell the truth.
I am being truthful. I would get the, how some schools would give out perfect attendance awards? I would get those. Be like one of the only kids getting it. Perfect attendance. Kevin, come up here, get your yo-yo. And I would get up there, take my certificate, get my yo-yo, whatever.
That's cool. They gave you a prize?
Yeah, they give you prizes for perfect
But they just gave us a little piece of paper. That was it.
They gave me that and, prizes and stuff. Yeah, I remember yo-yo was one of them. I don't even know how to use a yo-yo, too.
Oh, you didn't know how?
No. It would just come out and just stay out, and I would just have to restring it.
Oh.
I didn't know how to use it, yeah, so.
You didn't ask anyone to teach you?
No, I didn't. Nobody else around me knew how to use the yo-yo.
Oh.
Yeah,
Anyways.
That's my most embarrassing story right there. Getting a yo-yo that I didn't know how to use.
I'm sure things will come up as time goes on. I'm sure stories will be triggered out of you. Kind of like today with your poor brother-in-law.
Yeah, I mean, that's his embarrassing story. Pooping in a shoebox. Yeah, that's
so sad. Did he take the shoebox with him? I forgot to ask that. Did he buy the shoes? Put them...
Oh, no, I think he put it in the trash in the store.
And what about That's horrible.
I guess he just left the shoes out. I mean, what else he was going to do? I mean, just nothing else you could do.
Buy the shoes so that you now own the box and you can throw away the box without...
He didn't want the shoe, or maybe they didn't fit him, so he just couldn't. Yeah, that was it.
He's lucky the security cameras were so pixelated that they probably didn't even know it was him. They can't make out anyone's faces back then. There were security cameras in the Kohl's or whatever he was in. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I'm hoping it never gets to that point. I would like more fun stories, I don't like these embarrassing ones I've accumulated over the years.
These are fun stories. I like them.
It's not fun in the moment,
Yeah, but when you listen back to it, it's funny to listen to. I'm sure our audience will have a good laugh about it as well.
I hope so. Let us know if you've pooped your pants and where it's happened.
These are very popular stories, unintended evacuations. They are just very funny, I think.
One of my roommates in college said she went on a...
I did have unintended evacuations coming out my mouth, vomiting.
Oh!
Those I have a few of.
I had a roommate in college who went on, what is it called? Tinder or a Hinge date or something. And I guess they went to get tacos and they put I don't know what sauces on the tacos, but it upset her stomach. So she literally pooped in a container at the beach. And she told us that story.
In a cup?
No, in a container.
Why would you need a poop?
She had a container in her car.
In a container in a beach. Just dig a hole in the sand and then bury it.
I don't know. It's just the story she told us. She said that he took it really well, and I think he gave her lactase pills or something,
That's just so funny. That's kind of like my little bro when he vomited. He ran to the trash can, and he vomited into his cupped hands over the trash can. And then he tossed his vomit from his hands into the trash can.
That's gross.
And I asked him afterwards, I asked him, why didn't you just vomit straight into a trash can instead of vomiting into your hands and then tossing the vomit into the trash can?
I have one more story that you just reminded me of. Oh, man.
Okay.
My poor sister. Okay. My sister, it's okay,
Vomiting?
Yes, this is a story about her. So this was during COVID. Andrew and I were living at my house for a week before we moved up to NorCal. So we had been commuting to San Diego from my parents' house every day to go to work because we had ended our lease in San Diego, and it was just our transition before we officially moved up here.
Yeah.
So one day we got home from work. I would get off of work and then I would go to his job, wait for him, pick him up, then we would go to my parents' house. So we go to my parents' house and my brother is mopping. My brother, unfortunately, is a Mexican man, so he doesn't ever, sweep or mop or whatever. He didn't have to do those things. And back then we were cool, so I was okay with it. But now, learn how to do things. But anyways, he was mopping, and that was not a normal sight at all. So we go into the house, and he's mopping, and I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I don't know if I should say my sister's name, but he's like, ask her. And I go into her room, and she's laying on the floor like this.
On the floor.
And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, no. And I'm like, what happened? And she's like, I got heat stroke from the beach. And I was like, oh, okay. Are you okay? Like, do you need anything? Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to this. No, last
Wait, the
Thanksgiving.
beach is nearby?
No. Her and her friends did a little day trip.
Okay.
It's like an hour drive to any of the beaches, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And then, so 2023, Thanksgiving 2023, she tells part of the real story. But then recently, this Thanksgiving, she told the full, no, I think on TikTok, she told the full real story. What had happened was her and her friends bought weed brownies.
Uh-huh.
And she was, how old was she? I think she was 18 at this time.
Uh-huh.
She had just graduated high school. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had just graduated high school.
I can already tell where this is going.
Oh, man. It's like, like as an older sister, it's just like, oh man, like my mom.
But you didn't even know until recently.
No, because this whole time she convinced me and
I know,
Andrew and everyone else that she got heat stroke.
Uh-huh.
And so we were all feeling bad for her. My
And
brother
this whole
gave
time
her...
you always felt it was heat stroke. And then ever since that point, every time you and your sister go out family outing and sunny, you say, oh, I'm holding the umbrella over you. I don't want you to get that heat stroke like that time you did when you were 18. And here's a little fan. I'm fanning you as well. I brought you your water as well. And I'm going to take care of you. I'm a good sister for many years until the truth comes out. And now you're just...
No, we hadn't gone on any like trips or anything like that because I had moved up here and she started going to college. So we never like had time to go to. Also, there's not really any beaches in NorCal. I mean, I guess there are, but I don't really want to go to them. But anyways, so she told us her and her friends bought weed brownies and then forgot about them. And then before they went on they were supposed to come to San Francisco, and that's why they had bought their little weed brownies. But then that trip got canceled. So then time goes on and they have a little beach trip planned, and they're like, oh, we have weed brownies. We can eat them while we're at the beach. But since so much time had passed, they grew mold on them.
Oh.
And she said, and this was when, my older sister, like mom brain turns on, where I'm just like, you fool. But they ate them.
Wait, how old were these?
I don't know. I don't know.
Estimate.
I would have to ask her.
A few weeks?
Enough time for mold to grow on them.
A year? Because
No,
I would
not a
think
year.
anybody would know that you don't eat.
Well, so they were little 18-year-olds who had...
I hope they didn't think that, oh, we'll just scrape off the top layer and we'll eat everything else. Because if we scrape off the top layer where that mold is, how does the bottom layer...
Exactly.
It looks fine.
That's
because,
exactly...
Oh, okay. I have a story just like this, but it was with my dad and my little bro. And it's the exact same thing. And it was pork floss. You know what pork floss is? It's like shredded pork.
Yeah, it's good.
Dried up. There was mold on the top of this one jar. And my dad said, well, let me just scoop out the whole top layer. And I'll even scoop off the next 3 inches within this jar. And then we'll eat it. But I just felt so paranoid. I said, no way. I'm not going to eat it. But my little bro sniffed at it, tasted it a little bit. And he said, oh, it tastes fine to me. So my dad and my little bro continues to eat a whole bunch of it. And they started yakking and vomiting like 8 hours later, except for me. And while my dad was vomiting, he was laughing the whole time too. He was like, Kevin was right. He was totally right. Oh, I should have listened to him. And my little bro here's my dad going, and he was saying to me, oh, thank goodness I don't have to do that. And then 30 minutes later, he I don't feel so well. He runs to the toilet as well.
That is gross.
Okay, anyways, your
That's
sister
really
and her
gross.
friends attacked that entire brownie.
People don't think about the fact that the mold has spread throughout whatever it is, because for cheese they'll just cut it off and then eat the rest.
True.
Like as a kid, that's what we would do.
Yeah, that's
so
true. But surprisingly, it works for cheese, right? Mm-hmm. You don't get sick off of that.
It's like
but a lot of people don't
hard to get through, for the mold to crawl. So yeah,
a lot of people also don't know that for some molds, what you see, like that fluffy stuff, that could be the fruiting bodies, but the actual fungus is inside. Like, you know how you see mushrooms?
Yeah.
The mushroom is just the reproductive organs of the actual fungus that's in the ground.
Yep.
So your sister and her friend scraped off the fruiting bodies, but ate the rest of the mycelium in the brownies. Mm-hmm. Anyways, did she have a good, fun time at least?
No.
I mean, it was immediate, like within 30 minutes?
She got, first of all, because homemade treats like that, you don't know how much you're putting in of stuff. Like, you're throwing in the butter, like they make it with like can of butter or something, or make it with like,
and then weigh
I'm trying to think of another.
Measure it.
Yeah, no, the home. Oh, I just thought of another thing. I had a friend who ate like a treat that was 600 milligrams of weed.
That sounds
normally
like a lot.
People have 10 to 20 maximum. I would say like
600. Oh my gosh.
Yes. She told me that she was like dying. She was going in and out of consciousness. She would
I don't think
sleep,
you can die
wake up.
though. I don't think there's any reported documentation of.
It's just being dramatic, but still, she told me that she was like falling asleep, waking up, and that she was still crazy high, and she was like, "Oh man!" And then obviously she greened out.
You mean like 2 weeks
up.
later? 2 weeks later, and
No. No, yeah. I mean, it really will like. I don't know. She said for a long time, like it felt like 24 hours that she was just going through it, super super high. One time, oh man. What time is it? Okay, I need to talk quickly. One time in high school when I was a delinquent.
Okay, so the confession just came out.
Okay, listen, I was going through things at home. It was a tough time for me. We're not going to go into it today, but I did have a delinquent friend, and we did eat.
Blame it on your friend. Sure, I had delinquent friends, but I was not a delinquent myself.
Yeah, one time we ate, I think it was a brownie or a cookie or something, and then I didn't feel anything, and then after school it hit me like a bus, and I was in my physics classroom. We would always go in there and like do our homework and hang out and haha, and people were like, there was these two guys that I never really talked to, and they're like, oh my god, you're stoned, huh? And I was like, no, my eyes hurt and I don't feel well. I'm like, oh my gosh, they do look so red. Oh wow. And I was, because I didn't have that reputation of doing like weed, so I was so embarrassed. And then
and that was just like the first or second period?
No, it was after school.
Oh, okay.
We ate the weed, whatever it was, like at the end of fourth period, so there was still 2 hours left until the end of school. And
then the last period. Okay.
And then I will never forget this. That day, coincidentally, a car crashed through the fence of my school and caught on fire. And I will never forget standing there staring at it, and I was like, that wasn't weed.
What does that even mean?
I thought that I had like been laced with something. I thought that brownie or whatever it was like weed mixed with something stronger, because I was standing there and I couldn't tell if it was real or not. I couldn't tell if the car
You
being
went
on
up to the
fire was real.
flames, and you're like, "Oh, it feels hot."
No, I just like stared at it and I was like, oh my god.
Wait, but what about the rest of your friends?
They saw it.
I mean, they ate the brownies with you.
No, only one friend, but she wasn't in physics with me, so she wasn't with me after school.
But then
I was with
where
my
did she
other
go
friends.
then? You didn't like meet up with her, and she didn't ask you like how you doing, or
No, nope.
just abandoned you.
Separate
What kind of
journeys.
friend is this?
Horrible memory. It was awful. But
my
anyways,
gosh.
okay, that's separate. Back to my sister before we get to your cutoff time of 6 o'clock. Okay, sister and her friends scrape off the mold of the weed brownies. They eat them. She says shortly after, she starts throwing up in the sand. Like, she dug a hole, threw up, and then buried it, which makes me just more of a germaphobe. I'm like, oh, I'm never going anywhere. That's gross. And then she said her friend not doing well. All her friends not doing well. No one's doing well. She said she was laying there on the sand. And I don't know if you've ever seen Twilight. Have you seen Twilight?
The movies?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Not by choice. I was forced to coerce.
Just be honest.
Under
Evan. It's okay
gunpoint.
if you like them. It's okay.
No, I
Team
hated it.
Edward or Team Jacob?
Team Jacob, totally.
Oh my god.
Why would you want to lay down with a cold body? With a cold stone?
I can't get into this today. We're gonna
Why
have to get
would you
into
want
it
to
another
lay
day.
down next to an ice cube? I love laying down with my dog, and he's warm, and he's cuddly, and he's
Just
furry,
because
he's
Jacob's
soft.
warm and furry? That's
Well,
why? That's the only
The
reason?
alternative is like a cold mannequin?
Jacob
No
is
way.
weird. He like imprinted on a baby. She was literally a baby and he was like, that's my girly pop. No, weird.
The other dude
Not okay.
drinks blood.
That's fine.
Drinks human blood. Cannibal.
No, they were vegetarians.
Cannibalistic.
They were vegetarians.
Drinking blood? And you bite people.
No,
Sharp
it's fine.
teeth.
They
Creepy.
were good people. Nope. We'll get into this another day, but
Never
just-
can go into the daytime? Can't go Disneyland?
He can.
You can never
He
go
just
Disneyland.
sparkles. It's fine.
No, he just evaporated, died in
No,
the
he
sunlight.
does. Okay, I don't think you watched Twilight.
Oh,
because
no,
that's
I
not
did.
what
I
happened.
did. Sparkle, yeah. I guess
Yeah,
you could
just
put on
sparkles.
glitter and be like,
Yeah.
oh, shiny. Okay, why did they avoid the sunlight so much then? If it was
Because
just
they didn't want people
sparkles
to
and
see them
glittery.
sparkling.
Glitter makeup is pretty common now. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You just say, hey, I got glitter makeup on. You got a problem with that? Are you
Times
not
have
being
changed.
inclusive?
Times have changed.
Times have
Anyways,
changed.
there's one scene in
Uh-huh.
Twilight where I think she's cold. She's super cold.
She's
and-
always cold and always vulnerable and asking for help. Help me. She's always like that. That's so. She's always pathetic, basically. But yes, continue. Pathetic. Bella.
Anyways. Oh my god, it sounds like you want to fight her.
She's got to help herself, man.
You
Stand
stupid,
up a
useless
little bit.
girl.
Be a little more independent. Stop relying on these dudes.
True.
Come on. Help
So-
herself a bit.
There's one scene
Help
where
me.
he's
Save
with her
me.
because she's cold, and he tells
Yeah,
her,
she need a blanket. And why
Yeah.
isn't anyone bringing me my blanket?
and then he tells her, keep your heart beating. So my sister said, as she was laying on the sand,
Keep my heart
that
beating.
she was like, keep your heart beating.
Oh, keep your
because
heart-
she was so high. And then she says that finally, someone was okay enough to drive. They drove to In-N-Out. Her friend throws up in the In-N-Out. They drop her off at home. She gets home. She's talking to my brother, and obviously she looks horrible. And my brother's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "I think I got heat stroke," which is a lie because no
Now
one
that
in
you
my
know.
family knew about our delinquent, things that had happened. And yeah, she said that she.
Wait, so
felt
hold on. What
really
do your bro
sick.
and your mom
My parents
think
weren't
about
home.
it now?
My parents weren't home.
I mean, now that they know
No,
the
my
truth.
mom doesn't know, and my brother doesn't
Nobody
know.
know the truth.
I'm
Okay,
the
only
one who
you
knows
know.
the truth.
Okay.
Only me
All
and
right,
Andrew.
all right.
And so she said she wasn't feeling well, and my brother, thinking she has heat stroke, makes her like a protein shake, which like I don't Oh, he's a gym bro.
Oh, no.
I'm just throwing that out there. He's he's
He
like
forced her
what
to
you
drink
think
it.
of as a gym bro, like eating like chicken and rice every day. He's like very textbook gym bro.
Drink
So
this
he
protein shake
actually, yeah, gives her protein
and
shake
eat this
to drink.
power bar.
She drinks it fast because he tells her to drink it fast because it's nasty.
No.
And then she said that it made her feel worse, and so she
She's
throws
about to
up.
yak it out.
She throws up, and then she starts trying to run to the restroom, and my brother yelled at her while she's throwing up. He said, "Aim for the sink, bitch."
Oh, no. Wait, how do you know this? Did she
Because
tell
they
you
told
that?
me the story.
Oh, they both told you that.
Yes. Because when she was laying in the room telling us, like, I have heat stroke. And she's like, I was throwing up on the floor in the kitchen. She's like, and he told me, aim for the sink, bitch, as I'm dying. She said she tried to get up and run to the restroom. She slips, falls in her throw up, throws up some more, and then starts crawling to the restroom. So there's throw
like
up
the
like
Exorcist style, like crawling, leaving a smear, and oh my god, and then vomiting more while turning her head, just like the Exorcist.
And my brother,
onto
because
your bro.
most of us, I think, many people don't like throw up, but like me especially, and my brother,
Everybody does not like throw
but
up.
there's some people who can deal with it really well.
Okay.
Me and my brother, if we see it, if we smell anything, we start to gag. So he was gagging, and then in between gags was when he was like, aim for the sink, bitch.
Oh man! Don't you wish you could record that moment? That would have been hilarious.
If we
that
had,
would have been
yeah.
a viral video for sure. Viral video.
The home videos, like, oh man, yeah, pretty bad. So she confessed recently that it was actually that the weed brownies had mold on them. But
yeah.
before, when she had told me, she said that her and her friends had weed brownies and they ate too much. But then recently she revealed this new part, and I was like, are you serious? So then I had to teach her,
Another
even if
new
there's
part?
mold
Okay.
on the outside and the rest looks fine, it's not fine. Don't eat anything that has mold on it. Anyways, lots of stories about my sister today. It ended up being crazy stories about my sister.
Embarrassing stories from all of us, but mostly at the expense of our other
Of our
siblings,
family.
of our extended family.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of good, embarrassing stories. We made a lot of tangents to get to that. I don't even know how.
But that's what this channel is, ADD.
Yes, it is.
Some of us are undiagnosed and won't admit it, and some of us are diagnosed and admit it.
And I wonder who's who.
It's because your generation has a lot of, taboo around anything that's
That is true.
neurodivergent.
I can't deny that. I cannot
Yeah.
deny that. Yeah.
So, anyways, that was our tangent for today. Take you for
Okay.
listening to ADD, Attention Deficit Discourse. My name is Ray.
And I'm Kevin. Hope to have you again next time.
Yes.